Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Learn Plan Profit. I got Don here. Don is Weston's father, right?
Hello.
And you're part of the Learn Plan Profit team as well. So I'm going to start sharing my screen just so you guys can see Thinkorswim quit unexpectedly. Oh, perfect. So we love to see. So reopen. But yeah, hope you guys are all having a good morning. Today's Friday, right? So I'm going to have to restart my TD Ameritrade. So we should be able to see the live chat right here. 1 second. All right. What's up? What's up? Hi, new trader. What's going on, Isaac? What's up? What's up? All right. Here we go. There we go. Alrighty. So I'm gonna make this just a little bit smaller so we can see their messages at the same time. How are you guys all doing this morning? So it's 6:39 a.m. Market opened about 9 minutes ago. But I had my first 1K 4.5% day yesterday after 6 months of learning. I like that, Brandon. Congrats. That's absolutely huge. So even after 6 months, that's like ridiculous. That's so good. So yeah, I'm gonna go through a series of different futures kind of as of right now. So /CL, which is a crude oil future, which has to correlate on over to UWT and DWT. As of right now, it's trading in between the middle and bottom VWAP, so it's making lower lows and lower highs. The overall direction is a descending pattern, so right now it's trying to push up. The MACD looks like it's in favor of this push, right? The RSI, it makes sense on why it can push up a little bit more, but just understand that the overall direction of /CL as of right now is a descending pattern. So instead of focusing on something like UWT, that's also selling off, maybe paying a little bit more attention to DWT, which is the inverse ETF that's actually showing signs of an uptrend. So being able to get a good deal, buy the dip, and then sell the peak. So that's for /CL. Then we got natural gas with a huge sell-off leading up to market open. Aggressively sold off. It is also showing signs of a descending pattern based off of where it closed at yesterday, right? So it sold off. It looks like it's almost trying to find a support. The MACD, it's almost building that already, like that MACD divergence. So it already went through that full reversal, and now it makes sense on why it can continue to downtrend. So be very, very careful with this one and the overall reversal, and we can kind of go from there. So there we go. We'll set an alert. And we got /NQ. It was showing signs of an uptrend. It began to push down, but again, one thing that I like to point out is to identify a pattern. So it's good to identify kind of like the high points and the low points to understand if you're getting something for a good deal, especially if it's showing signs of like a overall horizontal pattern. It's very easy to be able to identify like the lower point when you can get in for a good deal and when it's most likely a better time to buy. So it looks like it's going to be trying to bounce right now. The MACD looks like it's going through this reversal. I would just be very weary about this as of right now. It looks like the SMA line is trying to act as a support, but this middle VWAP and this EMA line can be acting as a resistance. So let's be very careful and wait for that confirmation. We got /GC showing signs of a descending pattern. Again, I like to use the VWAP indicator, which is this purple, red, and yellow line to have a better understanding of its direction, right? And we could see ever since pretty much all pre-market hours, it's been trading between the middle and bottom VWAP. This is showing signs of a sell-off. It's slowly selling off. So again, gold as of right now is bearish and it's not very bullish, right? But it looks like it's actually pushing up right now, but it looks a little bit more on the overextended side, and so does RSI, so not so much of a good deal. So I'll set my alert if this thing begins to pull back, and once we get that confirmation, we can trade those correlating ETFs such as JNEG and JDST. So here, let's see. Okay, so /CL pushing up again. All right. How are you guys all feeling this Friday? as you guys know, Fridays tend to not be my best days for trading, so I'm going to try to be a little bit more selective, right, with what I choose to trade. It looks like right now we got a nice push up right now on /CL, but it's already showing signs of a resistance. So, okay, I like how pumped and excited you guys sound. It's good to hear. Or good to see. Ah. All right. We got /NG. Again, still selling off, right? What's going on, Ryan? What's up? All right. The C8 Corvette was announced last night, and I'm pumped on the day. Yep. How did you check? Did you hear about that?
I didn't hear about that.
No. The mid-engine Corvette. They released like pictures of what it's supposed to look like. It looks pretty unique.
Have you seen the pictures?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but I'll show you shortly after this. Still haven't made a trade since Thursday, since I'm trading live again. I like that. You're being selective. That's really good. I'd rather be safe than sorry. So Thursday and Friday last week, followed by my biggest single loss ever this week. Advice for dealing with emotions. Well, Vinny, it sounds like, again, especially like after 2 really big green days and then one red day that was significant. There's like a lot of significance right with that. So I would just remind yourself that, again, to not feel so comfortable with maybe thinking that you have it all figured out, that losses are inevitable in this market, and that you just have to like almost accept that when a trade is not going according to plan, that it's just best to manage risk or cut losses because, long term, as of right now, you're trading to learn, not trading to profit, because you could be trading with so much more later down the road. But you need to make sure that your confidence and your overall experience is there before you can even get to that point. So I would just, again, think about it kind of big picture, right? And I think once you think about it with that kind of mindset, it's going to be much easier for you to, cut losses or lock in profits, because at the end of the day, you should not be trading to profit right now. You should be trading to learn as you're just getting started. So if we are under the PDT rule, should we still pay per trade on the days that we can't trade? Yeah, I mean, more practice, the better, right? So I don't see that to be a bad idea at all. We got /NG, still selling off. We got /CL beginning to show signs of a potential sell-off. So what I mean by that, and looked on, one thing that I want you to see is that I like to focus a lot on direction, right? If something is continuously showing signs of growth, then our intention is to grow our accounts, right? So if I'm trading with $10,000 or $50,000 or, whatever it is, right? Your trading account is $10,000. Your intention with that is to grow that account. So I want to partake when the growth is happening. And one of the things and why I think direction is so important is when the overall direction is a descending pattern, so it's downtrending, it's more difficult, right? It's never perfect to identify the lowest point and the highest point, right? So it's much easier said than done, because now we could see where it, reversed and where it peaked out at. But, last time it touched the middle VWAP and then it sold off and then it tried to go back up again, but it did not touch this area, right? So you would have had to lock in profits quickly, and you would have had to quick lock in profits when it broke that pattern. So, and this is because it's a descending pattern. But if you were to then, I'm not saying that it's going to be, that much easier, but when the overall direction is in your favor and you're focusing on something that's actually uptrending, I like to focus on when it's trading between the middle and top VWAP, so the purple and red line, because it gives me, when the overall direction is in your favor, even if your entry point or your exit is not the best, you're at least, with that overall direction in your favor, you're more likely bound to still be able to recover, because you have that direction in your favor. It's just a matter of time for it to continue to uptrend. So that's why when we were talking about maybe what approach you should take when it comes down to with all the different things that you have going on, I would make sure that the direction is something that you take into consideration, just so it's that much easier for you to be more, effective and efficient with your entries and your exits. So that's why we're talking about DWT right now, because looking at /CL, getting into like day trading itself, one thing that we can see is, okay, it's a descending pattern. The MACD peaked out. So when it peaks out and then it begins to descend, it begins then to, indicate a signs of a potential sell-off, and it makes sense. It got rejected and now it's below the EMA line. And one thing that I like to use this EMA line for is if you were to put an arrow at the very end of it, which direction is it pointing in? It's almost now pointing down, so it's headed down, right? But then when it's pushing up, then again, if you were to put an arrow there, it's showing signs of an uptrend. So a very little tip that you can get a little bit of a better understanding of where the current direction is heading. So the EMA line, which is this light blue line, is what I like to use more for day trading. It moves a little bit quicker. This green line is called the simple moving average, and this one moves a little bit slower, so it tells you more of like its true direction, not just like in the past couple of minutes and stuff like that. So, Ricky, have you taken a position today? No. I am free and clear. No positions, nothing during pre-market hours or anything like that, but yeah. What is your yellow line? The yellow line is the bottom VWAP. So it's the VWAP indicator. What's going on, man? How you feeling?
Actually, don't feel too bad.
No?
No.
Good.
I wasn't sure about it when I was going to sleep, but.
Right. Here we go. So look, natural gas, remember that, it aggressively sold off,
right.
And then we thought that it was going to begin to reverse back up, but the MACD fully reversed already up, and it began to almost show signs of a descending pattern, so it almost made sense on why it could continue to downtrend. So the more that this sells off, the more that DGAS pushes up, and this is the one that's uptrending, right? And then this is the one that's downtrending. So yeah, this one probably looks more attractive because you want to buy the dip and ride the recovery, but it's always, in my experience, more effective and efficient to wait for it to confirm this reversal rather than trying to predict where the bottom is at, because the bottom could have been here, the bottom could have been here, the bottom could have been here, but it still continued to sell off. So instead of trying to predict, because no one knows where the bottom is going to be, wait for that confirmation. And even then, even when we think that it's beginning to reverse up, it could push up and then continue to sell back off. So ultimately, it's just best to always kind of just go with the flow of like its overall direction. So right now, kind of what I would be waiting out for is I can get into DGAS, but actually just the RSI is super overextended. What happened?
NG sold off so much.
Were you in a position?
No, I'm not. I closed everything out yesterday after I recovered, but
Were you in UGAS or DGAS?
yesterday I was in DGAS.
DGAS. Oh, so you would have. Yeah, I was in DGAS too. I sold way too early as well, but yeah, pushed up. What is it? Almost 6% today. So I like it though. So like if we were to get a nice little pullback right here, so I'm gonna put the natural gas future here. So /NG. And what we would want is, again, this is the one that's uptrending, DGAS, right? This is the natural gas future. So what we want is the natural gas to push up. This will pull back. We'll get a good deal on this. And because the overall direction is in this favor, as long as the pattern and the direction continue with this, then we'll get a good deal and then be able to continue to sell it for a profit.
Right
So-
now, it's not a good buy, but if it takes a dip,
So I don't want to say that it's not a good buy. It's uptrending, but I want to make sure that I do my part in getting in for a good deal. So I would
Okay.
like to wait for maybe a pullback or something of that sort. So look, this thing is pushing up right now, and the more that this thing pushes up, this is the inverse ETF of DGAS or of UGAS, which then this will pull back. So the more patient we are for that to push up, the more margin we build for recovery on DGAS. And for those that can't see him, I apologize. So this is Don. This is Weston's dad. And you were in town for, the week. So we thought it'd be a cool idea for you to stop on by. And he was here 30 minutes before I even happened to arrive. So I do apologize for that.
yeah, we're having fun. We're
Right.
visiting the son, and we had went to the Grand Canyon yesterday and had a great time.
I like that. We got 13 disciples saying, happy to have you here, Don.
Awesome. Glad to be here.
And you're part of the Learn Plan Profit team as well, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Still learning.
Still learning.
And in that learning process.
I like it. So what I'm going to do here is, because this thing is beginning to push up, right? And it normally gets rejected. You see that? Based off previous patterns. I don't know 100% if it's going to get rejected. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to go in with 150 shares, which is $25,000, and see if I can get filled. So I just got filled at 167.67 on ticker symbol DGAS, right? So that was with $25,000. And then now if this thing begins to push up, and there it goes, well, no, this thing is still above the EMA line. So now we want confirmation that this thing gets rejected. And if we get confirmation that this gets rejected, then I'll add more to my position size on this, and then I'll be able to make more money. Right? So I usually just, when I see a pattern, I'll get in sometimes, there's a risk with this. I'll sometimes get in a little bit before the confirmation. And then once I do get that confirmation, then I'll add more to my position size and I'll average up. So it looks like it's still pushing up. So, and there it goes. So it's still pushing up. And that's why, I went in with 25% of what my normal position size would be, because I'd normally be in with $100,000. Because again, if I went in with $100,000 there, trying to predict the very bottom is not very effective. But with this, it at least gives me a cushion that I get in with a smaller amount. So like, let's say you're trading with $1,000. This is like you getting in with 250, right?
Right.
So now I'm just gonna be patient, wait for a solid entry, and kind of go from there. There it goes, strong push up. So I'll just have this ready. Oh no. Let's see. So this thing's still pushing up. So this is still pushing up, so this means that this thing is still pulling back. There it goes. So it's still pushing up.
This is the natural gas futures.
That's natural gas. So this correlates on over to UGAS,
Right.
and this is DGAS. This is the opposite, right? I think I'll get filled here, but we'll see. So you see that it's shown its first rejection.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what it does. Let's see the 5-day, 5-minute chart. Okay, yeah, this is actually something that we pointed out in yesterday's video, where DGAS has been showing signs of an uptrend pattern, and on the 5-day, 5-minute chart, it's been showing signs of this SMA line, right? This SMA line, which is the green line, has been acting as a support. So it will push up, become overextended, then pull back. Push up, become overextended, and pull back. So one thing that he's pointing out right now is that the MACD is almost beginning to show signs of a reversal. The RSI is overextended, so it makes sense on almost why it can or will begin to pull back. So definitely something to kind of like keep in the back of your head is if it does begin to break its pattern and sell off, then we'll have to quickly cut losses on this and then go with the flow with you guys once we have that confirmation. But do you see this kind of pattern where they'll push up, become overextended, and then correct itself back to the SMA line? It'll push up, correct itself back to the SMA line, push up, correct itself back to the SMA line, and then push up again. And then it makes sense on why it can begin to correct itself. So look, this thing is beginning to push back up. There we go, and it looks like it might begin to, so the MACD is definitely oversold. oversold. The RSI is not too bad. So it does have a strong push. So it looks like there might be a change of direction. Yeah, really strong push. All right, let's see.
And this is all happening before the market opens.
The future will continue to trade,
Right.
pretty much 24/7. There's hours that it'll maybe 1 hour, in between like my time here, in between 2 to 3 o'clock, the futures will stop trading. But then it'll continue shortly after that. So the reason that I like to pay so much attention to the futures is because, again, if they have a direct correlation to the ETFs that I trade,
Right.
then I have much more data to analyze, right?
Right.
So with much more data to analyze, I have more patterns to see, more direction, and I can make a better decision, in my opinion, based off of that. So we'll see. So now one thing that I want to point out is that looking at the RSI and looking at the MACD, it looks overextended, right? So every time before something begins to pull back, it becomes overextended. But and there it goes. That's the first pullback. So this drives the price up on this. So once this thing begins to pull back like this, right? So then this MACD will then begin to sell off, and so will the RSI, and that gives me an indication that we could potentially begin to pull back. But the EMA line can potentially act as a support, as it used to act as a resistance, which we tend to see pretty often. So what I mean by that is, right?
Right.
So where it'll like push up and then pull back, and then it'll hold above the CMA line, right? But what I want to see is for it to push up, pull back, and then break and continue to sell off. So what I was explaining to him was the pattern that we were seeing on /NG, which is this pretty much. So I'll set my alert here on when we get the break below. If we get the break below, because we don't have to, right? There it goes. It's right there. So right now we're right around that EMA line, which is good, not a bad sign. I think you just have to, Mike, to answer your question, I think you just have to turn on active trader, and then it just gave me that option. If not, then you can call TD Ameritrade, and with their Thinkers from Help desk, they can help you set that up. I didn't do anything special to get this percentage tool, but I am aware that some people sometimes do not have it.
We just sold a truck at the lot.
Yeah?
Yep.
I like it.
That's awesome.
All right, here we go. So again, it's still holding above, and there it goes. It looks like it might be trying to build a support. Do you see how it almost bounced? And all right, let's see. There we go. It's beginning to push up, so it actually did find it as a support.
Right.
Yeah, so it looks like Yeah, and there it goes. What's going on, Phase-In? What's up? What's up? DWT just broke above 725, so /CL is still selling off. So the more that this sells off, the more that DWT then pushes up. So really cool to see. And if I'm not mistaken, on the 5-day, 5-minute chart, yeah, it's beginning to see this pattern also, the low points, high points, low points, high points, low points, and why this thing can continue to rally. So quick little heads up on this. The MACD looks a little weird on this, but it looks like it's still driving the price up. So all right. It looks like it's definitely trying to push up, but there's also resistance, right? It will push up, but it will struggle to continue to trend up, right? And I think because it did push up quite a bit, that it's bound to correct itself. So locked in profits on you guys. Congrats. Let's see.
So if it breaks below your
EMA line.
MA line, DGAS goes up.
DGAS, yeah. So if this thing goes up, it'll do the exact opposite.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There it goes, right at the EMA line, right, for natural gas.
But it could be a support there. And
Yeah, look at the MACD also. The
Yeah.
MACD is like selling off, indicating signs of a potential sell-off. But look, the overall pattern is still bullish and still trying to hold. Looking at the RSI, which is this indicator,
Right.
you can see that it's still showing signs of sell-off. So all this indication is in preparation. So like right now, if like you were someone that was just getting started,
Right.
I would still have not taken a position because there is no confirmation that this thing is selling off.
selling
So
off.
you want to take part of when that action is happening. And right now there is no action. It's still bullish, right?
Right.
So you want to wait until you get that confirmation of like a sell-off, because once that confirmation is there, then it makes sense on why, you can then begin to, enter and then add more to your position size as it begins to uptrend. There it goes.
There it goes.
All right.
I'm gonna take this call. Ricky.
Okay, sounds good.
It's on. Yes, sir.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, how could I help you? Are you looking for a vehicle? Okay. Did you see something on the lot that you liked, or?
All right.
I got you.
So again, right now we're right around that critical point, right on that middle VWAP and that EMA line right now for DGAS, right? So right now we're still waiting for higher highs, and the exact opposite for natural gas, right? We're waiting for lower lows, and it looks like it's actually again beginning to pick up. So that's unfortunate for me, but again, that's part of the game. So definitely something that you always have to keep and take into consideration.
The best thing that could happen is you just to stop by. My son will be there today. I won't be back until probably Sunday.
There we go.
I'm out of state right now, but my son is there.
Let's see.
Stop by there and drive some cars or check them out and see what we have available. I know we've got we got a couple of cars in that area. We've got a truck or two. that we could probably do, because I got a little Dodge Dakota, that's a nice little Dodge Dakota. AC works, you know, the paint's a little rough on the hood, but it runs and drives good. Be a good little truck for you.
Here we go.
And, I mean, if you get a chance,
Kind
just
of like
stop by.
that.
If it's not this week, I'll be back all next week. Feel free to call me, and we'll be glad to try to fix you up.
Here we go. And reversal.
Uh,
Looks like
like I
it
said, I'll be back
was pretty much a
Saturday
fake out,
late,
right?
be up there
So
Sunday some.
definitely
But
something
if you get a
that
chance, just go by there
sucks, but
and take.
you can't control. So
Yeah, he'll be there.
we'll have this already.
Now, he had to go to the revenue department this morning, but he should be there, I would say he'll be there about 10 o'clock, and he'll be there till probably 5 o'clock. And what was your name, sir? Hey, Frankie, my name's Don, and I'll be glad to help you, and we try to get you in something that is reasonable and will take care of you.
There we go.
Right.
Forward slash GC just broke below its support. Now we're just waiting for
Yeah, feel free to come by there and take a look.
DGAS to begin to push
We'll
in.
try to make something happen. You're
Ah,
welcome.
yeah.
It's hard to run a car lot in there from Arizona.
Right? Let's see.
So where we at? It's pushed back up.
Yeah, it's beginning to push up, so it's pretty much a little fake out. So we'll see if it does like a double top here and then actually begin to sell off, or if it's actually just going to continue to uptrend. So here we go, pulling back down again.
So did you put a position in on DGAS?
Mm-hmm. So we're right around that EMA line again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. There we go. Nope. Another. When we get lower lows, it's kind of what I'm looking for. Let's see. And there it goes. It's still trying to push up. It's just not selling off. So
Now, are you still live, Ricky? We still live?
Yeah, we're still live.
Everybody sees you and
yep. Everyone's like, yeah, we see you. Go. Again, we're getting some form of consolidation, right, around that general area. But still nothing. There's no lower lows that are forming, and what I mean by that is that, you know, when it continues to make like signs of a sell-off, there's none of that below the EMA line. So that's usually a really good indication of a confirmation or, you know, a change of pattern. So right now we're it's definitely not in our favor or anything like that. And if it continues to consolidate here long enough, yeah, the MACD will go through a full MACD-like divergence where it will go through that full reversal process and then begin to push up, and then that will just then continue to drive the price up for natural gas. So let's see. Yep, and we got natural gas right around that middle VWAP. Looks good, but looks like it's definitely trying to, there's definitely a resistance there. We just don't know if we're going to get, what we're looking for. So, let's see. A couple of alerts. Nope, there it goes. It's finding a support again.
The good thing is, Ricky, I got a couple calls on vehicles this morning.
That's good.
So.
When you're waiting?
Well, yeah. I got a couple calls this morning, and lady wants to sell me a vehicle, and I got 2 that is going to go out today. So.
That's good.
Who knows? I might even have a calf today. One of my cows might even have a calf.
Really? All right. Let's see. And there it goes, pushing back up again. Let's see. The waiting game part is it's just the
tough part.
Yeah, it could be a little just, of an annoyance, but there's nothing that we could literally do, so it's just giving it more time. I've been live for like 45 minutes, almost 40 minutes, so I do apologize, guys, that it's been almost somewhat boring. I'm just waiting, so I think I'm just going to cut losses here on this trade, and yeah, it looks like it just didn't perform the way that I expected it to, right? And something that we have to accept. Yeah, every Friday. There's definitely a loss. Well, I've had good Fridays as well, right? But couldn't lost it to Diaz. Yep, and there it goes. Let's see. Yeah, it's not doing anything. Strong, consistent downward pattern there, / NQ. Looks like it aggressively sold off, so it's at, it's oversold, but not pushing up yet, so / GC. Descending pattern, so remember it pushed up and then it got rejected, so now it's selling off again. There it goes. And there goes natural gas. So I'm going to take an L on this one, team. trying to give it a little bit more time. It's just not doing anything. Appreciate that, Muhammad. Happy to hear that. Let's see. Yeah, it's moving really slow. I mean, the past couple of days, I feel like natural gas and crude oil have been pretty volatile, but for the past 45 minutes, they've been, I mean, they're consistent, right? But they're not moving a crazy amount. So it might not just be a good day to, it might just be a slow day. We might just have to accept that. So, and there it goes. Now it's beginning to pull back again. So I'm going to give it a little bit more time. I'm going to close out the live stream just so we can talk a little bit more about like patterns and stuff like that. And then we can kind of go from there. So I'm going to set my stop though. I want to, right? All right. Alrighty. Well, gonna pretty much leave it at that. Right now we're still consolidating. DWT. Whoa, DWT actually pulled back. Wow. Quick change of direction. Okay, so it pulled back, it sold off. That's something that we expected, right? Nice push up on /CL. So again, we're touching that same arrow. So one of two things. It's either going to continue to push up or actually it's now super overextended and it's bound to pull back. So one of two things. So keep a very close eye, wait for the confirmation. And again, one good trade can be your last trade for the day. And it could definitely be in your favor. So I'm going to end it here, team. I really do appreciate you guys' time. Thank you guys again for welcoming Don. We actually have not just Don here. We got Zach in the house. Zach's also part of Learn Plan Profit. So we met Zach at Vegas when we went for Ish's 21st birthday. And Zach was nice enough to meet up with us and kind of show us around. So really do appreciate you guys' time. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Friday. I'm going to be in the trade ideas and Discord for any questions or concerns that you guys might have. And I don't think you saw my stop loss on Diaz. Here we go. So stop loss set, just going to try to manage my risk. This can be at about 1%. So it does suck. That's about $1,000. But again, you win some, you lose some, and we've came back from much more, right? So I'd rather manage my risk with that than have to, really struggle to maybe make like 3 to 4% back when I know I can recover from 1%. But appreciate you guys' time. Like always, guys, continue working hard, continue following dreams, let your passion be your drive to your success. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team. Happy Friday.